Hello everyone, I'm Victor Chudnovsky, and this is Tybie.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming here. It's great to see everybody, and you're all part of this movement. Thank you for your time and effort to be here.
And thanks to the other speakers. We've seen a bunch of different types of updates from the grassroots. This one will be a very pragmatic update about the actual activities that we've been doing and what worked and what hasn't worked. And just as a way of quick introduction, I first came to this Congress 2 years ago. I was not involved in the movement before then. I had heard about it a little bit. So that was in the spring of 2015, and in the fall we set up a Seattle chapter of this new national organization, Basic Income Action, and that's what we're going to talk to you about.
So one of the resources that our group created were these basic income dollars, and we'll be handing them out to you. On the front side, it's sort of a similarity to an American dollar bill, but it has Uncle Sam in the middle saying, like, here's a basic income for you, handing out the cash. On the back side, we have information about basic income and a link to our website. Now this template for these dollars is available on our website, main website.
Yeah.
And you can actually go in and customize the back of these dollars to whatever your group is. It's open to like any type of basic income. It's not necessarily our own group of basic income action. So we encourage everyone to feel free to use these dollars for the activism work, and we've found that it's a fun way to introduce people to basic income and like get their attention.
And I totally feel like doing the Oprah thing and just throwing out money right now. Yeah, so this is a Google Doc, so you can just copy the doc and customize it. So that's what we like about it. Another thing that we did was we had a public information session right during the election, and we had 2 candidates for Congress that we reached out to. Only one of them could come, Brady Walkinshaw. I should mention his name. He didn't win, but he did strongly support basic income, and he gave a very inspirational talk to the gathering of people that we had there. The other candidate who did win, Pramila Jayapal, she didn't come to our meeting, but one of our members actually called into a radio show and asked about her support for basic income, and that kind of forced her to say, yeah, I support it. So that was kind of cool.
Another thing that our group has been focused on is refining elevator pitches. So each of us has been working on how we would explain basic income succinctly and like persuasively to any given person. We've thought about different strategies for pitching to different audiences. So it's been sort of an ongoing process that we're still in the process of refining.
And the last thing we want to mention is the movie night. We stole this idea from the Basic Income group in New York. You folks probably heard Diane last night talking about the movie night. So when she mentioned that this was very successful, we said, hey, we're going to borrow that idea. And that's what we did. We had our first one last week, and we got a bunch of new people, like 12 new people. So that was very exciting. We showed 2 introductory videos, and then we showed a longer video by Yannis Varoufakis from Greece, and that spurred really interesting conversation. So we highly recommend that.
So some of the things that have been really helpful to us is pooling ideas and resources from other groups. As Victor already mentioned, learning about the movie night strategy from the New York group proved to be very effective for us. And we're also really happy that we've been able to share the basic income dollars. This kind of collaboration gives us a lot of excitement and hope about energizing our efforts moving forward to promote basic income.
Another good choice that I recommend all groups do is actually rotating the meeting moderation. Initially, I started up the group, and I'm paying for the meetup page, so I was like, well, I know I'll be there every single time, so I'll just lead the meeting by default. What actually turned out to work really well was we actually let other people lead, so we have a rotating moderation, and that gives other members more experience and more ownership, and it also makes life easier for me, because now to a bunch of the meetings I can just go and show up rather than have to prepare everything myself. So I recommend that too.
Another thing that's been really helpful to us is increasing the frequency of our meetings. We used to meet every month, and we've upped that to every 2 weeks, and it's been very helpful in keeping on track, keeping momentum up, and just being able to keep people more engaged. We feel we're able to get more done overall, and we don't lose track of where we've been and like doing catch-up work. So that's been great.
Yeah, and as previous people have mentioned, time is very tight, especially when you're a group of volunteers. So that has been really important to keep the momentum going. Okay, so our challenges. Number one challenge is driving up membership. Our core group is still very small. Only 5 people who show up meeting after meeting, so we're trying to drive that up.
Another challenge that we've found is having new attendees come back to future meetings. So we periodically get new people attending our meetings, and they'll seem interested or they'll seem confused depending on who they are. We try to engage them, but we rarely have people return for a follow-up meeting. So like Victor said, our core group is small, and then the other attendees have been kind of transient. We're wondering, how do we follow up with them? How do we encourage people to get back or to be more involved in this?
And a really big challenge that we have is increasing attendance at our public events. At our first meeting, for a variety of reasons, one of which was that we didn't have paper flyers. A lot of people showed up. We had like 28 people, but most of them did not come back. At most of our meetings, we only advertise on the internet because that's simple, it's easy, I can do it at home late at night, and I'm done. But for this movie night last week, we actually went to the effort of flyering our neighborhoods, and I think that's what really drove attendance. A bunch of the people who came said that they came because they saw the flyers. So the lesson we learned is that the internet is great, but you still need to do the nitty-gritty work of getting out into meet space and flyering the heck out of your neighborhood. And that's unfortunate because that takes more time and more work, but I think it's necessary. And that's all we have, so thank you very much.